it so much.
Yeah, I hear you.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Where's a RuPaul thing? Don't fuck it up.
Yeah. Right.
Um, so now that we've expressed our displeasure of this whole situation, I think it's a great time to play the cheap seats. This episode is called Book It,
Yes.
Payback 2016, and this is straight from our chosen one himself. Enjoy.
So last week I had mentioned that I was going to be doing something special this week. Julie and I have spoken about it. It's something new we're trying out. If it receives somewhat positive feedback, we're going to keep it going. We're going to start it simple this week with WWE Payback right around the corner. And I will be giving you my somewhat predictions and somewhat booking of it. Basically, if I was in charge and I was going to be booking, this is where I would be going with the pay per view. Like I said, if it gets enough positive feedback, it will be continued. I'll do it possibly every pay per view, or at least the big ones, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, so on and so on. Possibly doing takeovers as well. And if enough people are interested, I would do my booking of past storylines and so on. So, to start off, the pre-show match, which it's so sad. It's almost a joke that the United States title is just a pre-show belt nowadays. Kalisto and Ryback. Is anyone else just fucking sick of this yet? To start off the pre-show, a lot of people will be surprised when I say this. I'm actually going to have Ryback go over. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. Jesus! Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. But hear me out. Ryback wins, proclaims that the big guys will always rule the wrestling world, commences a beatdown on Kalisto, and in mid-beatdown, Kalisto is saved by one Apollo Cruz. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Apollo Cruz. You should all know this by now. But putting Cruz in a program with Ryback, letting it go a couple months, and in the end, Cruz gains the United States title, seems believable. Seems like something you could actually see. Not only that, as much as I don't like Cruz, he does have the athletic ability to where it would actually turn some eyes to the United States title for once. So that's just my idea of it. From then on, the pay-per-view begins. I would start the pay-per-view with Baron and Ziggler. Baron goes over. Corbin decimates Dolph Ziggler. Looks like a complete monstrous heel. Ziggler does his job of putting over the new talent. I hate to see Ziggler go through it because he's such a good worker, but it's the only thing that makes sense. Why would you have this upstart from NXT who in his first match wins the Battle Royal at WrestleMania to have him lose at his first pay-per-view? Corbin goes over without question. Following this, I would have Miz versus Cesaro for the Intercontinental title, and I'm going to have Miz go over. Hear me out. Miz goes over, slight shenanigans on Maurice's part, distracts Cesaro for a minute, Miz gets the win. This continues on for another month, and Cesaro picks up the belt at the next pay-per-view. My reason being, with such short title reigns for the Intercontinental title the past few times, to have it switch again so quickly would just lower the prestige a little bit more. Zack Ryder held it for a day. To have The Miz hold it for 3, maybe 4 weeks is just as silly. So Miz goes over for now. Cesaro picks it up next pay-per-view. Next I'm going to do the tag match, Enzo and Cass versus Vaudevillains. And again, a slight curveball. I'm going to have Vaudevillains go over. Now, why would I have the most hyped tag team in the longest time lose to the Vaudevillains? Well, if Enzo and Cass are going to give their shot, if they're going to get their chance at the titles, and win them, it's got to be on a big stage. And I want it to be at SummerSlam. So middle of the match, Enzo and Cass are fighting. The Dudleys come out, jump them. Ref has his back turned. They throw Enzo into the ring. Vaudevillains hit the Whirly Dervish or whatever it's called. Whirly Dervish? Whirly Dervish. Hits that, gets the pin. They move on to fight New Day. They lose to New Day. And after Enzo and Cass finish up their program with the Dudleys, they move on for New Day at SummerSlam. And at SummerSlam, we get Enzo and Cass versus New Day. And to have that at SummerSlam would be a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moment. Following this, I will have Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens. I don't want Sami to have his moment yet. Don't get me wrong. I love Sami Zayn. What I want is Sami to prove that he can hang with Kevin Owens, that he isn't just Kevin Owens' punching bag. Because remember, the 2 matches they had in NXT, Kevin Owens fucking murdered him. I'll repeat, in NXT, Kevin Owens fucking murdered a man. Twice. So for this match, Sami actually holds his own, gets real good hits in. Kevin Owens is actually taken back from this. Right before the end of the match, Kevin Owens is in the corner. Sami runs for the haluva kick. Kevin rolls. Sami misses. Kevin rolls him up into the schoolboy pin, yanks the tights, gets the 1, 2, 3. Owens books. It may not make Kevin Owens look monstrous like he is, but let's face it, he already looks monstrous as he is. He's already proven that he can fucking scrap. So to give him this one little win where he kind of yanks the tights and bolts, it just shows that Sami can hang on his own. We keep this program going for a couple more months, Sami will get 1 or 2 wins in. Sami will get his revenge on Kevin Owens, but it's a long-term thing I want to keep going. Charlotte versus Natalya. This is really simple. Charlotte goes over. I've said it before, Natalya's almost out the door because of Tyson Kidd. She's going to want to start a family soon. And Charlotte, from the rumors that I have heard, I know this is my booking and I shouldn't use real-life rumors, but the rumors do have some weight to them, and it's something that I would personally do. Charlotte's going to move on to Sasha Banks at SummerSlam, and that's something that I myself would book. The way I would have this match go, though, is Rick gets into a fight with Brett on the outside, throws a punch, Brett goes down, the ref gets pissed, kicks Rick out. Charlotte gets pissed off, starts yelling at her dad, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Now she has to really fight Natalya and prove herself, and she ends up winning with the figure 8. The reason I have Rick get kicked out is because at some point Rick needs to go. Rick can't keep managing and helping Charlotte along because it's the same thing that happened with Seth when he was world champion. He has people constantly helping him, and it makes him look weaker. We knew that Seth could wrestle. We knew that Charlotte can wrestle. It's just a matter of how they're booked and how their matches end. It makes them seem a little weak. Moving on to Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. Ambrose has to win. This is no ifs, ands, or buts. Dean needs to win. He's had a horrible streak of luck since January. Lost his IC belt in a fatal five-way match, which, first off, what the fuck is that? Loses at the Royal Rumble to Triple H, was the last 2. Loses at Fastlane, loses at Roadblock, loses at WrestleMania, which I called fucking bullshit on that. Jericho got his big win at Mania. Like I said, I felt it was the wrong call that Jericho got the win over Styles. But he had his big match. He had his big moment. And if you're going to make Dean a quote-unquote legitimate threat for the title and still keep him in that bubble of main event stars, he needs to win here. Because the more he loses, the more he doesn't look set. So from then on, we have the World Heavyweight Championship match. And it's going to hurt me to say. It's going to hurt me physically to say this and to have these words come out of my mouth. But bear with me. Roman Reigns is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship against AJ Styles at Payback. Just one more time. Hang on to your seat. Get a drink if you need to. Roman Reigns is going over AJ Styles at Payback. And I know this pisses a lot of people off, and it's going to fucking send the internet into a frenzy, but hear me out. Middle of the match, Roman and AJ are putting on an actually somewhat decent match. AJ's kind of carrying it along and Roman's going with it, but it's still a decent match. Mid-match, Anderson and Gallows come out. They get into the ring. The ref's been knocked down at this point, and Styles looks at them. He's like, no, not like this, guys. He tries to wave them off. He even kind of like pushes them towards the ropes. He's like, no, not like this. Let me do it by myself. I can do this. Just get out of here, guys. I got this. And before he has a second to react, Anderson and Gallows fucking mug him. They beat him down. They hit him with the Magic Killer or that fucking Boot of Doom that they made a couple weeks ago. But they drop him, they lay him out cold, and they get out of the ring, and they start backpedaling up the ramp. Roman, because they're doing that slow burn towards heel, that real slow burn that fucking hurts, he looks over at Anderson and Gallows, and he looks over at AJ on the ground, and he looks down the hard camera straight at us and just kind of shrugs, drops down. The ref wakes up. 1, 2, 3. It's going to be painful. Roman will leave to a chorus of boos like he always fucking does. But it's going to happen. Now, Roman leaves. AJ's still in the middle of the ring, and he looks up at Anderson and Gallows, and he has that look of why. Why would my friends backstab me? Anderson grabs a mic and goes, oh, did you think we were going to help you? We told you that we're friends forever. But business comes before friendship. And we've been taking cues from someone a long time before you and I were friends. And out walks Finn Balor in his leather jacket, smirk on his face, stands between Anderson and Gallows and just looks down at AJ. And right before that little credit shows up in the corner of the screen and we get the WWE screen, we just get a shot of Finn pointing his finger down at AJ like a gun. Fade to black. Why am I doing this? Why am I putting us through the pain of more Roman Reigns? One, we all know it's going to fucking happen, so we might as well just rip the Band-Aid off. 2, we get a Finn Balor debut. 3, AJ does not lose cleanly, so the wrestling community will not erupt. And 4, we get the debut of Bulletproof, or Balor Club, or Gullet Blub, or whatever the fuck they're going to call themselves. But we get them finally. This will lead AJ into a feud with the stable, whatever it's called. I hear that a few more members will come in. I have my ideas of who the members would be, but I'm keeping that to myself. And this leads Roman to go into whatever his next feud will be. Possibly a returning Seth Rollins. Possibly a Dean Ambrose feud, where Roman finally does turn heel, and Dean is now the babyface of the company. But these are just my thoughts. This is how I would book Payback. This is how I would personally do it. I'm not even going to touch this announcement that Vince McMahon has, because it is a very big rumored brand split. And we all know how I fucking feel about a brand split, so I'm not even touching that until next week, and we find out what happens. So, let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you think my booking was any good at all. Let me know if you agree with my choices, and if not, let me know what you would do differently. Like I've said, if this does positively, we'll be getting more of this in the future. So, until next time.
Thank you, fuck you, bye.